Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. We are so excited. You guys are here on a great night. We are going to chat about the Luca teaser trailer, the approximately 1 minute teaser trailer.
Is that how long it was? I didn't even look. Yep. It's just...
around.
Yeah, it felt so quick.
Yeah. So we are going to talk about that teaser trailer. We're going to dive into our overall thoughts on it, of course. We're going to talk about the vocal cast. We're going to talk about the Entertainment Weekly article that happened today that they gave some additional insights in it. We're going to, of course, dive into all the details because you know I love my notes.
Copious notes.
We've already found Easter eggs. We've done a whole bunch of awesome things that we found, and I'll be interested because, of course, as always, we're joined by some special guests, but I'll be interested to see as we dive through with our findings, what matches, did you guys see things that we saw and everything like that. But before we get to our special guests, I'll also just throw it out here and say some comments to everybody that's in the chat. Let me move some of these around and I'll shrink them. So welcome, Scott.
I want to watch that Billie Eilish one too.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen the Britney one yet either. It's on my list.
Yeah, I know there's lots of them. So we've got lots of people that are here. Alex, Poji Joe, what's up, Joe? Marco, Brent, Aiden, what's going on, sir? Pixar superfan 8695, the best of the user. Yes, gotta love the notes. Thank you so much. We saw Chris here. So yeah, Lara is in the house. We got Josh, Pixar freak. Boy, oh boy, lots of great people that are in here as well today. So thanks again. We'll keep saying hi to everybody as we keep going through here. And Aldo, hey chat. Kelly, nice to see you. Hopefully we'll have some other folks join us along the way, but let's throw it over to our special guests and see who's joining us tonight. And let me make sure if I just throw up another, so we got Swirly Dog Studios, and I'll move this so it's not on Sydney's head. So in the I don't know which.
I'm just the Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, exactly. But the coolest Mike Wazowski that has the coolest custom-made Pixar light in the background. So
cool.
That is awesome. So yes, down below us here is Sydney, Sydney Squidney, and she is going to. She's going to school for the arts. She's got a lot of great, cool things that she's got going on for editing and other things that she's got on the table. To this side, I got to figure out all my sides here. Across the way, if you've noticed him, he hasn't been here in a while. So I think we should all give in the chat a big welcome back to Dan the Pixar fan. So Kevin has even given you a hey, how are you in the chat here. So welcome, Dan.
Thank you. I'm just happy to be here.
Fantastic. And down in this corner over here is Miss Paulina. And she has she was on our last one as well where we talked about the review for Soul. And she's just obviously, one of the nicest, friendliest.
Just got back from Disney World.
Yes.
Just got back from Disney World people that we know. Yeah. We also, speaking of Disney World, our other friend that's been on these from a while back, was Jeff Kays, and he is actually in Disney right now. So, a lot of the gang is around. We were supposed to have Marco from the Pizza Planet truck on, but he ended up getting a pretty bad headache, so let's make sure we'll all send him positive thoughts as well in case he's able to listen. So, Chris, we missed you, Dan.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah, we were talking about it before this. It's been a couple years. All right, so we're not here to talk about love your content, Pixar Post. Well, we love your comment. And so, look at this. Brent is even giving you a hey, Paulina.
Oh, hello.
And Credit Studios, hello. So yes, we'll show the trailer here in just a minute. I'll share that. We'll get going there.
When I'm repping my La Luna shirt.
Yeah, this is a La Luna crew shirt.
Nice.
Thank you, eBay.
Yeah.
I didn't have one, so I had to just go general Pixar today.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yep. Yeah, you know what's funny is I only have the hat today. Usually I always at least have the hat and like a shirt or something that goes along with it. But yeah, Paulina, you've got the, what is that? Is that the D23 shirt?
This was the Pixar Fest.
Yeah.
That's right.
shirt that
Yes.
came out. Yeah.
Awesome.
Such a good one.
Absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. And Paulina, I see you have relocated your La Luna plush behind you as well.
Yes. Right.
And-
there.
Look at this pandering to Enrico. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh no, Dan, he's running to get something. We've got our
yeah,
There
ours-
it goes.
We could be friends. We could be friends.
yeah. Ours is he's in
Yeah,
the
he's in the cabinet.
he's in the crack of the cabinet. If you can
We've-
see him right
two
here.
of them.
Yes.
We had to open the door a little bit because if not, you get the
That,
reflection from the light.
That original 2012 one, because then they came out with like the Pixar Pure one that's a little different. But
Yeah. You know,
this
when
one was the original that you guys have. But he
Yeah.
can chill here with me.
and then on it wasn't Shop Disney back then, but it was on the DisneyStore.com. I scored a signed La Luna book that was on.
Yeah, I remember they were doing like a limited.
Yeah, it was, like, crazy.
run of it.
Yeah.
I have the book, but it
I
wasn't one of the
do.
signed ones.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just
But
like.
good call with the plush with Bambino here. That's,
That's
Yeah.
right. I mean,
oh, and I got,
theming.
got Bambino
I
over
feel a
here.
little left out.
Yeah.
At college, I don't really have anything. Sorry.
That's true. You're safe. Don't worry about it. You got the sweatshirt and the hat and
Yeah.
the light. You're safe.
You're in good
And
company.
the cars.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What were you gonna grab? What'd you grab, Dan?
I was just,
maquette.
the maquette here.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Since I don't have a shirt, he has to come over here too, because this
Yeah.
is in celebration of
Oh, it's
all
so
his
beautiful.
films.
Yeah, and he's right there too. These were
I
from the
love
studio
that.
store.
Yeah, one of my favorite pieces ever.
Yeah, and so for anybody in the chat that doesn't know what we're talking about right now, I hope you do. But if you don't, Enrico Casarosa was the director of La Luna, the short that we're all talking about with Bambino, which premiered ahead of
One of my
Brave in
favorites.
theaters in 2012. But which was the first movie that we saw in Atmos. So the very first content that I saw in Atmos was the short film La Luna, because
That's
it was
when
the
we
first.
started
Could
our
you
site
imagine?
too.
Yeah, and that was our when we started the year we started our website
Our
too.
inaugural year.
I know. So yeah, we're here. Let's. What do you guys think? I'll let you guys vote in this group here that's being shown on the screen. Do you want to watch the trailer first, or do you want to give your overall thoughts and then watch the trailer?
I say trailer first.
Yeah,
Sure.
I agree.
All right, the trailer it is. So everybody in the chat, you can watch along with us as we watch and see what we do here. Maybe. There we go. Playing momentarily. Hopefully. It worked. It worked when we were testing.
It did. I can confirm that.
All right, hang on. Let me just try to I'll refresh it. Oh, all right. Wait. Might it work? We'll let it sit there for a minute. But while that's coming up, I think we can talk about. Let's see if we can get it to. I'll try to force it up here, but we'll talk about some of the vocal talent while that's coming up. How about that? So, as far as the folks that were added here, we've got Jacob Trembley. Now I kind of Trembley. I took a second and I was like, "Who is it?" She came like running
I
in the
was
room.
like,
So yeah, talk about that for a
Amazing!
quick
Oh,
second.
man, I was so excited. First off, when I heard that that's who it was, because TJ did the post this morning, and when I saw that vocal cast, I was like, wait a second. I was like, this is genius. This is like awesome casting. I love it already. And I'm like, oh, he's got to be playing Luca. He's got to be playing Luca. And I was like, he's playing Luca. I was like, this is amazing. I love it already. Because he is a very talented young boy.
The
Or young man, I should say.
the
now. Like
expressiveness of
13 or
his
14.
voice is precise. He's
Yes.
got a very precise sounding voice, and his personality is very big. Did you guys know anything about him ahead of time or anything like that, or who he was?
No clue who he was
No.
I
or
don't
who he
either.
is.
Oh, man, he was
Okay.
so
I knew-
good in the room. And like, oh.
So he won the Oscar.
No, he didn't win the Oscar.
Who didn't? What
He
did
got
he?
nominated.
He got nominated.
That's
Brie,
what it was.
Brie Larson won the Oscar.
But who?
for the
What
movie.
he got up and gave a speech for something.
He won like I'm sorry, what is it? A SAG award,
Golden
I believe, because then he
SAG, yeah.
said this is cooler than, or this is going to go next to my Millennium Falcon.
There you go. That's right. Yeah. So he's a. I mean, go and watch that Oscar or that award
SAG
speech, the SAG
awards.
award speech that he gives. It's so cool. I mean, you feel your heart just bursts for this kid.
It was like 4 years ago, but it was like so.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's really cool. And then we've got Jack Dylan Grazer. And I should say with Luca, we found out his last name now too. So it's Luca Paguro. So we didn't know that before. So a bright and inventive 13-year-old sea monster with endless curiosity, especially when it comes to the mysterious world above the sea. So his friend that kind of throws him into the world above the sea is Alberto Scorfano, and that is Jack Dylan Grazer, so an independent, free-spirited teenage sea monster with unbridled enthusiasm for the human world. So they've got a little bit of that whole, like, Little Mermaid,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's up there?
He's from, his voice actor is from Shazam, too, I think.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He-
So
he's
I hadn't
also
seen
in
that
It.
movie, and I didn't know who that was by his name only. But once I Googled him,
You're right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, as we
I
talked
saw
about,
that it was the Shazam kid. I hadn't seen Shazam, but I totally recognized him from the trailers and all that. So he seems like a funny.
I
funny dude.
recognize Jacob Trembley now, just looking at pictures from Wonder. That makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. And then we've got Emma Berman, who provides the voice for Julia, who is the human girl that they befriend when they go up to the...
Is she a newcomer? Because I noticed you didn't list any credits for her.
Right.
Yeah, I found her on Instagram, and I think she's like done a couple vocal things and a couple other like side project acting jobs.
Yeah. You know who she totally reminded me of? She reminded me of Peppermint Patty from the Peanuts. If you hear both of those voices side by side, when we watch the trailer, pay attention to that. It sounds so much like it, where she's like, we're the underdogs, and, like everything like that. It was...
Oh, I love that part.
It's such... Well, yeah, I know Paulina does. She messaged
I
that
know,
right away.
I love that.
But yeah, I mean, cool character. We'll get into her a little bit more too. She's got so many vibes from other characters, but totally unique and strong. A surprise vocal cast announcement that I didn't know about was Maya Rudolph, who voices Daniela, who's Luca's mom. How cool is that?
I love it. I love everything
awesome.
about this.
Yeah.
Pops in everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll just be watching something. I'm like, it's her again.
Right.
Well, I love that they are taking so much of like the SNL like strong female cast.
Right.
Like it's just like it's awesome.
Yeah.
They still have a
Amy
lot
Poehler,
more. Yeah.
Tina Fey. Now we got Maya Rudolph.
Yeah.
Have they done any other of the female from Saturday Night Live? But that's still a big contingent right there. But yeah, Maya's a great addition right there.
I love her.
We,
I think it's just going to be so like sensitive and witty, but like I don't know, but soft and like warm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then Marco, I wish Marco were here for this. So Marco Baracelli is Massimo, who is Julia's dad, which we'll talk about him coming up. He's got a La Luna tie-in there, which is super cool. And then Jim Gaffigan is going to voice Lorenzo, so Luca's dad. Probably should have put this in a different order. That's just the order that it was in the press release. But yeah, so that was really cool. So let's see if we can get... And Jim Gaffigan, I mean, also a comedian. He's got one of those exceedingly distinctive voices. It's such a high-pitched voice, but also has this low resonance under it. Mm-hmm. So I'm really... that's a great screen voice right there. All right, let's cross our fingers. Let's see if this trailer works. What do you got in the chat there, Sydney?
Whatever. So Brent just said she reminds me of Ellie from Up. I was going to say the exact same thing. But
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Million
100%.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Love that. Great.
Come on, baby. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
We can
Oh!
scroll through it.
Oh, there.
Yeah, it's not going to work, I don't think.
All right. No.
Money
Well,
moves.
so it'll update, but it's just not wanting to do nothing. Loop. Oh, give me a little bit more here. I'm gonna try it one different way. Okay, so I want you guys to talk about the Ellie thing while I try this in one different direction. So when you first saw her pop up, what were your thoughts there? Did you think of like I assume young Ellie is who you're thinking of.
Yeah.
What
You
was
see the hand.
was
you
it
see
the
the hand go in when she's like saying that they're. Oh shoot! What's the word? But she puts her hands in, and it's just like Ellie going in, like for the handshake. She's like, "I'm Ellie." I'm
Yep.
like, I'm just looking at Ellie, and then when they're running across the roof and she's helping him up, I'm like, that's just them right there. That's just Carl and Ellie.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
def-
I didn't think about that immediately. I mean, once you bring it up now, I definitely see that. It's that spunk. It's that same spunk that she
Yeah.
has, and that like almost tomboyish, adventurous quality. I see that now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I had seen that connection. I think I had shared with you, with them laying down, looking
Yeah.
up towards the sky.
That was a good point.
You know, it's like Carl and Ellie.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, they had that same connection right there. You know,
They're gonna have a little something going on.
Okay. Exactly.
All right, I'm gonna try this now. You guys let me know once I get started if you guys hear the audio too or not.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fantastic. Let's watch.
We can go anywhere, do anything. We just gotta stick together.
We underdogs have to look out for each other, right?
Underdogs. This is gonna be the best summer ever. We'll ride down every road. See the whole world together. It'll be amazing. But there's just one thing.
Whoa, wait! Did you see that?
No one can find out.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
Where did you boys say you were from?
Okay, so how awesome is that? Like, it's so beautiful. It's so joyous. It's so everything. Is it Pixar at its finest?
It is.
Yes.
From
Yes,
from
it
that minute and 20 seconds, absolutely.
But yes, yeah, I'm not saying like the film itself, but I'm saying like in terms of like
It is.
in terms of teaser trailers, that
Yes.
is pretty classic Pixar feeling right there.
Absolutely.
Oh, for
And
sure.
then
Sorry, our cat is trying to knock down our light.
What's up, Luxo?
get over here.
Luxo has to make an appearance.
Yeah,
And that
just
brings me to my next
shut the
topic.
office door.
Just kidding.
Okay. You gotta keep talking.
Oh yeah.
No dead air.
Yes.
Guys, we get another Pixar cat.
No, we're good with just the one.
No, I
But-
meant like we get one in Luca. There's a cat.
Oh yeah, a cat. Yeah. Oh my gosh, with a mustache.
Yeah. So great.
Okay,
Yeah.
so can we share our thoughts now about what we thought about the trailer?
Yeah, you want to do like an overall, or do you want to start diving into the specifics?
Just like an overall, or just like a thought you had.
Would you like to go first?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we read in an article that I think it was the Italian magazine that the director Enrico Casarosa kind of was inspired by his own childhood. Like Alberto was kind of based on a more free-spirited friend that he had when he was younger, and Enrico's parents kind of kept him like maybe more helicopter parent, like you can't do, kind of more shelter, don't do this, but his other friend like got him out of the box.
Yeah.
100% this is like how I feel as a mom, because our son Leo, I'm a total helicopter parent, and I just am. I just want to keep him safe all the time, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's gonna meet some like a little buddy, and he's just gonna go off. I mean, even with his little friends now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you play so differently than like I don't know, because I think it's because like I work in a school, so I see him on the playground sometimes, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I see what I'm seeing in this Luca trailer is like scooting down like with this makeshift scooter off. It's like what I see, like when Leo when he does things. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it just like it touched me in a way, and I'm really really excited seeing like how Julia plays into it. Just like I don't know, just seeing like our son grow up and knowing how we parent him. I say I parent him, how we parent him, and just like. I just feel Luca and our son Leo are very like similar. I don't know.
Yeah,
it touched me, and it like struck a chord with me.
So here's a funny comment. So Jason Deemer was on. He did like a quick like video interview from the other day, but they broadcast it today as part of the Topps digital thing, and he talked about the fact that. If you don't know what else to draw, and this will come back to your comment.
Okay.
If you don't know what else to draw the client. So if you draw something that looks like them, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I like that. If you can't come up with like a design that you think is going to work, draw the client. And he's like, that isn't my saying, but it's from someone else. But as a parent, our son physically does not look like Luca.
No.
But we try to find those connections, and that's what makes Pixar so good is they make these universal things that we can all kind of connect to. And so I think that's what you're picking up on is the fact that it's this universal, like the kid, how they play and how they're interacting with other kids. It's like
innocence, and like even when they're dancing. Well, no, when Leo dances, he's like all over the place. But it's just like you can see just more reserved and like a more free spirit. I don't know. He's kind of a mix, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just I just felt something with that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the one thing that I took away from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, oh my gosh, it's another one. It's like Good Dinosaur.
Any overall thoughts that you guys have? Dan, did you have anything that you had initial thought-wise?
I mean, similar to you, all your great adjectives that you use came to mind when I was watching it. Just beautiful, vibrant, colorful, joyous summer. I got the summer vibes, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to, I mean, it's already been kind of getting warmer, and I'm like already ready for that summer weather, and it's just like the ocean and the summer and the gelato, and I love the music, and, you know, You Are My Sunshine, and I know we'll probably talk about that. Again, classic Pixar came to mind when I was watching it. So yeah, loved it a lot. And going along with what Julia was saying, I love the fact that they are carefree having these adventures, because it reminds me of like my time growing up in the 90s and even before that, the late 80s, where the culture, like the growing up culture was so different. We were just outside all day, you know, building rafts down at the beach, trying to get them to float, and making forts in the woods, and like playing cops and robbers and capture the flag. Like we were out from morning till, you know, late at night, just having adventures around town.
Oh yeah, no parents. You came in when the street lights came on. Or I grew up on the East Coast. It was either street lights or when that mosquito van came with the fogger, and you had to race it home, or else you were eating that bug spray.
It was just running through, you know, people's backyards and all these things that you can't do now. Like it's just a totally different world out there. And it just brought me back to those childhood days of the summer and being with your friends and having adventures. And I feel like the director had a similar experience, and he's kind of channeling that as well. So Those were some of my first thoughts.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Paulina, what were your initial?
You know, I have to agree with both of you, but definitely the You Are My Sunshine really hooked me right away, because that was Lisette's, my second daughter. That was her song that I used to sing to her.
Aww.
She didn't like any other song. She put that one.
So you wore it out.
Sing to her.
Aiden loves it too. That's one of his songs too.
So and just to hear it in the Italian version, it was just like, oh my gosh, it sounds so beautiful. So that was like the first hook. And then after that, everything is just so beautiful, you know, and like you guys were saying, it just reminds you of innocence and just fun time, just growing up in summer, just, you know, just being free, you know, and playing with your friends and running around, and you have the ice cream and the sunshine and the water, and it's just like little moments of perfection that when you grow up, you forget about that. And then this reminds you, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, it used to be like that, even for me or with my kids when they were smaller too. And so it really just tugged on my heartstrings.
Man, that is quite the emotional outpour there at the end. I love it.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's great. It's because
agree with all that though.
Yeah, because it's like we're all kind of saying a similar thing, but I like how everybody's kind of putting their own like twist on it a little bit of how they view it, and at all of our different life stages. Sydney, what were your thoughts?
I just love the warmer tones. I feel like we've had a lot of emphasis on like the cooler tones the past year with Onward and Soul, which is awesome, and that was so cool to see.
Yeah.
But like as soon as this trailer started, I was like, oh, like it's like Cars 3. Like I was like, it's the beach. Like
Yeah.
That's true.
Just, I don't know. I love the saturation on it. The vibrancy in the color grading is so cool. I think over the past few years, Pixar has just really emphasized that they understand color and they understand it well. So
yeah,
I think that's the biggest takeaway I had. I also love that like I've been to Italy and I know like their scouting is incredible. And I was like, this looks like I'm standing in San Gimignano, just like whatever their piazza was called. But
that's awesome.
So cool. So gorgeous.
Yeah. And our friend Giovanni, who comes on these a lot too, I mean, he said to me outside of this, he had to work, and so did Ashley. But unfortunately, I was like, you were the perfect person to be here. He literally has family from Italy. He goes there, and like he's like, I literally felt like I was standing in like my family's village, like when I was watching these trailers, and it's like. And he looks like Luca. Yeah. So if you see Giovanni, I'm not. He said one of his other friends texted it to him too, so it's not just me.
No, but it's true. It's just a fact.
Yeah, exactly. I want to.
I like kind of what Paulina said, like that the movie seemed like it was like everyone's like free. It's like everything, and I feel like it's like totally what we need right now.
Yeah.
Like this, just like. Free, like summer, it's like not a care in the world kind of thing, especially after being cooped up for a year plus. It's just like, gosh, I can't wait to watch this movie and just forget about everything.
Well, so that's like, it's cool because like around like the holiday time when Soul hit Disney Plus, everybody was like, this is what we need for like the emotion, for family, for thinking about our lives. We've had time to recoup. We've had time to sit and think. Now Luca can take us to the freedom. You're right.
Yeah, it's just like,
so we went internal. Now we're good, and we're like, I'm out.
Yeah. And I have one more question.
Okay.
Okay, because Sydney said something about Onward, and I have a thought. Do you think maybe the fact that there weren't any like sea monster creatures in Onward is because there were going to be sea monsters in Luca? You know how we asked, like, when we had our Onward discussion, we said, hey, what, there weren't any, like, underwater creatures. Like, because it was all, like, a fantasy world. And I know there kind of were when they were doing, like, storyboarding and scenes and stuff that got cut. But I just thought of it today.
They had, like, a couple mermaid shots, but they didn't, like,
but they didn't use that, yeah.
Correct. I honestly, I think the answer, I mean, I could be wrong. And you guys, Sydney... Paulina, Dan, feel free
It's just like a theoretical, like,
yeah, but I feel
question.
Like both Ian and Barley are on land.
Yeah.
There would be almost no purpose for them to be in an underwater world to service the story of Ian and Barley.
Yeah.
So that's, if anything, that would be the only reason I would think they probably wouldn't go there.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, maybe there wasn't ever an overlap to begin with. Because it never fit into the story, but doesn't mean they didn't talk about it.
No,
I was just curious because I was like, because it was still like in that fantasy realm, and I was like, oh, I wonder if they like worked I don't know.
Right.
No, it's valid.
Yeah,
for sure. There's a question. There's a question that's earlier that I scrolled back to from Brian, and I'm curious how long you think the boys have been sea monsters. Is it lifelong or more recent? I think that based on the fact that they say that they're curious to the mysterious world above, and they said Alberto dragged Luca up there, and they know that they're not supposed to be seen. I feel like this is who they've always been, and they're just doing this one summer up there. You guys kind of on this, on the same thought process.
Yeah, that they're inherently sea monsters.
But they basically have to be home before the streetlights come on.
Oh, maybe they have to go back under there.
I wonder like kind of how the rules work as far as they're sea monsters, but they obviously transform into humans with air, or out on land, or I guess in any air, because as soon as they kind of leap out of the water, they're human again. So
like that.
I wonder what kind of the rules are, and like how they're born and all that.
Here's another one that I wanted to come back to. So Brent, I feel like the idea of them changing could be, something that can lead to cool story points. Like if it rains, what are they going to do? Like all of a sudden, like boom, if he can get it just from like
water,
a spit take.
Well, I was going to bring this up later when we talked about it, but I'll just bring it up now. I love the direction they went with them changing back into sea monsters, because it reminded me of color changing toys. Like, any kind of color change toys where you just dip it in the water or you splash it. If it gets any little splash, you can see the color already changing. Ooh. And they totally reminded me of like color changing toys. We've all had them. So you know what I'm talking about. I was just playing with the color changing cars a couple weeks ago. So like the Pixar cars. So I have it fresh on the brain.
Nice.
Yeah. And I immediately thought, that's going to be some great merchandise right there.
Color changing. Yeah. I didn't think about that, incorporating it into actual color changing toys.
Oh gosh, how could they do that? That would be so cool if they could figure out a way to make the hair, instead of like being brown,
it would just be painted on.
Right.
That's what I mean. Like if they could take his brown hair and try to like paint it to make it look like they'd be like gills, or like the whatever they've got back there.
Yeah.
Man, now I hope that someone was thinking like Paulina, who was ever making. Well, I know Mattel's licensed to do Luca, so we'll see what they come up with.
So, do you think the Shop Disney is going to make the human form characters or the sea monster characters, or both?
Like in their figurine set?
Both.
No, like the plush.
Both.
Oh, totally both.
For sure.
I hope they do the kind that like unfold and become. Like the reversible ones or whatever.
Well, they did that with the boys from Brave. The triplets. They turned into the little bears.
Just like that.
I hope they do it where it's like they cut down the side of the face, like kind of in the trailer, where like half of it's the sea monster and half it's like normal face.
That would be
I love that scene.
Amazing. I don't think they're going to do it, but that would be amazing. That would be so bold if they put out a split character. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
because like they do it in the poster. I feel like they're legally obligated to. Now.
Legally obligated. I love it. So Incredible Studios said it's coming out June 18th. Yeah, from what we've heard, although it says summer at the end, we've heard that it still is planned for June 18th. So nothing to break there.
I noticed that it was.
Go ahead, Dad.
Go for it. Okay, I was just going to say, I noticed that it was Toy Story 3's release date, and then Coco had Toy Story's release date in November. A little connection.
Yeah, right. So it still should be. We'll see. Go ahead, Sydney. What were you going to say?
So I work for a movie theater back home, and I texted my managers, and I was like, do we have Luca posters coming in? And they're like, we're putting in orders now. So hopefully it actually goes through, and like we have the same release date, because movie theaters are planning on that's what we're going to do, but they also plan for it for Soul, so worst case I end up with 2 posters that say 2 separate dates.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to have to rent out a theater.
Yes.
Ooh. Something we should consider as Michigan.
Oh man, Paulina, Dan, get here.
Yeah, just fly out.
Hey. That's the only way we're going to go to a theater anytime soon, is if we're renting it.
Yeah. So let's see here. So I'll come back to some of those things. Let's roll through some of the trailer individually, and I've got my time code breakdowns. So let me start screen sharing here again. I will turn the volume down. Let me know if you guys see this again. Do you see that one more time?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Okay, so first off, I want to know, who is Elena? Yep.
Yes.
I assume that's one of the other things you guys saw here. Like, hey, what the heck?
Is it Elena or is it Elena?
I would assume.
I was wondering that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I read it as Elena.
Oh, I like that.
So the first like shots of the town, like right here, this was another one of my like initial thoughts was I got the Coco Town vibes very strong.
Yes.
Especially how he talked too.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
he was
Yeah,
talking,
it
I
just,
was
like,
like, it's
it hit me.
totally Miguel.
Yes.
And then they even bring up, as like one of their 3 movies they even bring up
Coco.
They
Yeah.
put it,
Okay,
yeah, and
so yeah,
they
I have
always use Toy Story, obviously.
I have that a little later, but there's so many things in this that have that Coco feel, and I think part of it is
Which
because
I love.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
got the opening of the town, like you said, that you saw that, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the acoustic guitar going a little bit, which is how Coco was. And the way that guy moved and acted when he goes, "Did you see that?" Or, "Are you seeing
I
this?"
thought the same thing.
Yeah.
That is like Hector in a way. And the way his voice sounds is a little bit like the guy that's like, "What?" in like the Coco trailer. So like that,
I
like
totally had the same thought.
yes, I had that. It's okay. Okay, I'm glad that I wasn't alone in that.
Nope, have it in my notes.
Yep,
Fantastic.
same.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, so it sounds like everybody's picking on
Since
that.
you had pulled up the shots of the town, I had to bring it up.
Yeah.
I like the people in the chat are mentioning that the last time we saw Pixar in Italy was Cars 2. Do we think we're going to see any Easter eggs from Cars 2 in there? Hint, hint, wink,
Yes.
wink.
I saw you saw one.
Well,
I was
I mean,
going to say, we know that he's been all over that.
yeah, so Miguel's grandma was Elena. That would be very much a throwback if that was the case.
That would be a deep cut.
Yeah.
That's a stretch.
Love how the signs are painted on the walls. Okay, so I'm going to go back to it real quick.
And Josh's comment about Enrico being a storyboard artist on Coco is
Yes.
brilliant.
Yes, absolutely.
That makes
Does
a
anyone
lot of
know what that says on the left? The bar. I tried putting it in Google Translate and it was like nothing.
Yeah,
so.
correct. I looked up all these different things, and
Yeah.
many of them did have things, did have translations, but this I could find.
Isn't it like Ban, like BAN?
I tried Bon and I tried Bar,
Yep.
and neither one came with anything. So I don't know. But obviously, from a Cars perspective, I don't know. This Ape could potentially be now. Marco, the other gentleman that we usually have in these chats,
Pizza Planet truck.
the Pizza Planet truck. Marco, he really wants this to be a Pizza Planet Ape to deliver
I guess-
instead of the truck.
I was gonna say I was gonna guess that as well, or a boat, because I'm sure like it'll just appear in the ocean at some point. But
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
So
the
then,
Pizza
Planet
Planet,
truck That'd be different.
So then, obviously, back in the corner here, behind these two characters, you've got a yellow car that you could, presumably think,
It's
hey,
a mint color.
well, I think that's because it's in the shade. I could be wrong. Let me.
It's mint.
Okay. Let me go here. So I pulled this up so that way we could see this next to each other.
It looks minty yellow.
I still think it could be because it's in the shadows.
Yeah, I see both.
it looks like Ramon maybe did a little bit of a paint job.
This
We'll
is
go with
this is
that.
gonna be like that darn dress.
Oh, yeah,
Is it white
gosh.
and gold or black and blue?
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite close enough to be an Easter egg.
No, it's not. It's definitely
Wow.
not Luigi, but one could assume that maybe they borrowed the Fiat
Yeah.
500 rig, because clearly his eyes are not in there.
Oh yeah.
But
It is a similar shape.
in general, it's a Fiat 500, which is cool. Okay, so let's go back over here, and
I was gonna say one thing I would love to see is Fiat is merged with Chrysler now, so I think it would be cool to see like those types of cars as well.
you got the Michigan
Just think
vibes
it's
going
funny.
on.
Exactly. They
All
won't,
right.
but
So in this scene, we've got. I love that right before it, you've got the boy that's playing soccer right here in this center area, and then you've got a no soccer sign behind them. Also giving me just a touch of Coco with the, no music, no soccer. But
the designs are just so. I love how we're back to just so stylized and cartoony and round for everything.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, I
Yeah.
love it.
Me
I
too.
love it.
Instead of they're not going for the. I mean, I love each film what they're trying to do with the animation style, whether they're going more realistic or more photoreal or whatever. I think it fits the movie for what it is.
But it's good to come back to it once in a while.
Back.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun to go back. Like, I remember when Up came out, I feel like Up was one of the first ones to really stylize the humans.
Yes.
Where Carl was literally like a square and Russell was very round and very cartoony, very stylized. And I feel like this is kind of going back to that, the fun of that, where they're having a lot of more liberty with the designs.
Yeah, and I absolutely adore it beyond belief. This game that they're playing, and he yells Scopa. So I will pull it back here. So this card game, I looked into that, is a traditional Italian card game. I did not know this prior to this, so thank you for making me learn something new today. So it's a game with 40 cards, and Scopa literally means broom in Italian. Which, so the idea of the game is that you have to sweep all the cards off the table so you win. So there you go. So he's playing like a traditional Italian card game. So yet again, we knew Pixar would do their research, and they did.
You know what I love when Pixar dives into other cultures is like all the learning that comes from it. Like, I remember researching and learning so much about the culture, Mexico and the culture there and everything from Coco, and I'm already learning things about the Italian culture there. I just think that Pixar does it in such a fun way where you want to learn more about these cultures and you want to visit these places.
100%, and like that's one of the reasons why I get excited when these come out, because it gives me an excuse to learn more.
To deep dive.
To learn more. I mean, we go through our everyday lives and we have all these things that come and go, but these are the things that slow us down, that change our minds. And, I've mentioned it on here before. We started doing an ofrenda after Coco because it was just like, oh my gosh.
I love learning about all that stuff.
Yeah, this is like so beautiful and it means so much to family and everything. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like yeah, you're right. There's so much education, and I saw.
And then it's fun, like passing it on too. Like I was saying, like as I was learning about, all the things from Coco that I had learned, it was fun passing it along to my family and teaching them, because there was this, I feel like, perception with the Day of the Dead, and Coco really helped, like, teach what it really is, what the holiday means. Because I feel like a lot of people just associated it with Halloween and all that, and I feel like Coco did a brilliant job at bringing to light what the actual holiday is and what it means. But anyway, talking too much about Coco, but I'm just saying that it's great to learn about other cultures through Pixar. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm curious about, Luca, about like the sea monster stories. Is that like a real tales,
Those
obviously, that are like within those seaside towns. I mean, I dig a good, like,
So it sounds
tales
like,
and tall tales and stuff like that.
So it sounds like Sydney had some insight there.
So, I mean, just bringing it back to your point of if it's like really a thing, it's like obviously we see in the trailer how significant it is in the town, like with the what's the word? Sculptures?
The
statues
statues.
and the
Statues, thank you. Yeah, and all of the artwork, but also, like, I don't know if you guys caught it, it's literally tattooed on, like, the dad's arm.
Dad,
he killed the serpent.
I will.
Like,
yeah, I have some thoughts on that too.
Yeah, so, like, whether I'm sure TJ probably did more research than I did about the Italian history with it, but, like, if you read the Percy Jackson books, like, it talks about, like, Rome and, like, how, like, the god Poseidon, like, was a really big thing in Italy. And how it pertains to, like, it's a big deal to, like, rule the sea and, like, kind of hate fish.
Yeah, so
hate
I mean,
fish, but...
Enrico talked about it a little bit too. I don't think it was in this EW article, but it was in the Italian magazine that was released last week. And in that one, he talks about the fact that, he kind of just always, it was always in the background, like on Italian maps, he would always see like these sea creatures on the map. And he was like, well, what does that mean? And so, yeah, it ties into the Italian folklore and everything. You can bet, I have not looked into the details of it yet, but you can bet I will be. So that is a super cool thing for sure.
And Dan, I want to know your thoughts on that tattoo because I have thoughts on it too. About
TJ, I need to know if you
Julia's
know who does the
backstory.
score.
No. So do we want to talk the tattoo now, or do we want to wait till we
were going chronologically?
Yeah, let's go chronologically.
Yeah.
Let's go through the trailer and see. Yeah, but yes, that's gonna. You have thoughts on that? I'm interested.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm
Sorry,
not
Julia,
any of
I
my
interrupted you.
thoughts have ever been really correct.
They totally have. You've nailed it before. There's been people in the
for
chat that have
sure.
come in here and said Julie nailed that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
I totally
You're
interrupted you.
amazing. Yeah.
You're fine. So I put up a comment, Sydney, since you wanted to know who's doing the score on it. I do not know who's composing it. That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Giacchino would,
Michael Giacchino would make a whole lot of sense to do it, having those roots as well.
but I don't know what he was working. I don't know.
But
So, yeah, I looked into it because both his parents are Italian. He has dual citizenship in Italy and here.
he better be doing it.
He's the man to do this, and I love his score, so I'm rooting for him to be the composer.
Me too.
But I did read a little fun fact that there's I don't know his name, or I don't recognize his name, but there was this legendary Italian composer. His name was Ennio Morricone.
Yes.
And apparently that was Enrico's first choice to be the composer, but unfortunately he died.
Yeah.
Before he could ask him to compose the film. So
Really? Where'd you
he
hear
did
that? That is awesome.
I found it as a fun fact on one of the wiki pages for this film.
Okay, so he would have been a great choice. I mean, obviously he is Italian. He speaks Italian. When he wins awards, he goes up and accepts, and he's like barely broken English, or they have sometimes translations. But I mean, he's a legend in terms of like the Western genre and doing a whole bunch of Italian films. So.
Oh, you
He knows all
recognize the
about
name?
music. He knows.
Absolutely.
He knows like everything.
Yeah.
about
See, I
music.
didn't. I mean, I do love classical and I do love film scores too, but that name, I didn't recognize the name. Maybe if I saw some of his work, I would recognize it. But
yeah, he was.
But
What was
I
he in
guess
his
he passed away
80s
a
or
few years
something like
ago.
that? Like when he just died. Like so. I mean, he's a legend.
Yeah,
And
so
that
that was
would have
the
been
first choice,
awesome.
apparently.
That's cool. But yeah, Giacchino. That's just gonna work so good. I mean, you can already kind of hear it with like the Ratatouille vibes that he brings. He's gonna bring
When
that
he brought
same.
it to Coco.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he has like he has the European stuff down. Like he can, even when he's not the culture, he nails the culture every time.
yep.
So let's hope.
So yeah, there you go. So Christian, he won his first Oscar 5 years ago. Yeah, I remember watching that, and he was like this. I hate to say it like this, but he was like this, cute old man. Like, he was like shorter. He's like myself, and he's just like getting up there, and he's so excited for winning something, and it was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
So let's see here. I'll go back to the trailer real quick. So we got Scopa, which was fun. You'll see. I'll wait. There's a poster in the background there.
How did you find the name? Did you just Google like a traditional Italian card games or something?
He said,
When
he
he says the word.
When he
Gotcha.
throws the cards down, he says Scopa. So I was like,
Okay,
let
that's
me
what
look
you
up
searched.
Scopa.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh,
okay.
the awesome thing about this scene is that Italian is really similar to Spanish, so that sign on the right is like basically like a fish circade. Like it basically just means like fish market, which I just think is so cool.
Yes.
It just makes me want to go on a vacation here and just like, I love just European culture. Like I've been only to England. I have been to England and I've been to Scotland, but I love the idea of Italy and France and traveling there, and so just really gets me itching to go there.
And
Yes.
that scene was so early too. Like the doors are always open on the shops; they're never closed. It's so cool.
Okay, so since you have been there, did you recognize that there were... Now, granted, when you were there, it might have been... Was it like a touristy stop, or were you, like, there for a while?
No, I was there for like 3 weeks.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so did you
Yeah.
notice anybody with as many bare feet as there were in this trailer?
Yes. So in Venice, I don't think I saw one person with shoes on except for tourists.
Wow.
It's a thing to be barefoot, which is hilarious. Or they're in like chacos or like whatever sandals in style that year. But
That's
the pavement is like essentially specifically made so that like you don't really need shoes. Like it's not like hard cement. It's like very well paved and like it doesn't hurt to be barefoot in
Gosh,
Italy,
that's
which
amazing.
is great.
So opposite of the Rivera family owning a shoe shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
We won't need that in this film.
Not necessary. No imports.
Yeah, but Chris is putting in that Anino did the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's the Western front that I was talking about. But yeah, I already put this one up, but Joe mentioned how few shoes exist in this movie. So yeah, I mean, it's just, that's so cool that that's a thing, and like I just love these the casual talking nature. Again, the character designs, like Dan and
I honestly
everybody.
didn't notice the no shoes thing. I don't even know why. That's like so obvious to me now.
Can we talk about the shoe thing real quick?
Okay, you
Continuing
mean because
that?
you and I were talking about it earlier?
Yes, can we bring that up?
Okay, sure, go ahead.
So this is so funny because I have to have an answer for everything with my roommates when they ask about Pixar. And one of my roommates came busting into my room this morning and was like, "Why are their feet huge?" And I'm on the spot. I'm like, "Well, they turn into sea monsters, so I'm pretty sure it's because like their feet are fin-like whatever." But it is funny because you notice like they don't have shoes on and their feet are significantly bigger than what's the girl's name? I'll butcher her name. Julia. Thank you. Significantly bigger than her feet. Like when you can see them walking side by side, I think that's very fascinating to see like those two boys like just have really big feet.
Yeah, so what's interesting is I paid attention to the size of their feet comparison after you and I talked about it. The thing that's interesting though is there's a scene later where they're looking in a telescope, and if you look at their feet there, they don't look as drastically different.
Oh,
so I'll be
interested.
interested.
It's the camera lens they're using.
It could be. It could be. It could be where they are, but let's look at it as we go through the trailer. And see what we can come up with. But the other reason that I had brought it up to you is I said, well, it's also a huge convenience for the characters as they change between human form and sea creature, because they couldn't be wearing shoes because when you see their feet, they get really long and they've got like the flippers on them and the gills and everything. But then the
clothes, is that just supposed to be like one of those, what do they call it, refrigerator things?
No, so the clothes, they show them at the end when they're coming in and out of the water, changing on, they stay on.
Okay, yeah.
So you'll see the
like
clothes.
The Incredible suits.
Yeah, but I wonder how, like...
But yeah, you'll see, but like they couldn't be wearing gloves, they couldn't be wearing shoes because they turn more like fish-like.
Right.
Whereas the body is remaining the same shape, so that can be under the clothes. So I think the shoes are also a convenience, because all of a sudden if they turn into a sea monster and then they come back out of the water, how are their shoes going to pop back on?
Right.
See, all the rules that they talk about. I'm sure they have just a roundtable discussion. Let's talk about the rules of this world.
Yeah.
They have all these. They talk about all this stuff.
Yeah. So I love the fact that it works for the character, but yet it's also, as Sydney said and as Kevin said in the chat that I put up here a minute ago, that the bare feet works story-wise and it works legitimately for the town, for the people.
Wise.
Yeah. So that's super cool.
And there was a comment here: is this set in any particular decade? And I wanted to answer to that because I always talk about this, how I love how Pixar always just is so neutral with when this is taking place, and it's just timeless every time. And I don't think you're supposed to know. I think that this could just be any time. And they always throw in a little retro flair to make it feel kind of old-timey. Sometimes they'll throw a little bit of modern in so you can kind of relate to that. But it's this great mix that Pixar always does to make it feel timeless.
Absolutely.
I never really think about, like, when is this set in? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know
the
why.
only one that... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, like, I just never really think about it unless it's like blatant, like Onward, like,
Incredibles.
okay, yeah, Incredibles, or Soul.
Incredibles
That's
is a great
obviously
example
like
of it being like a great mix where you don't know. It's like this made up time period where it's like this retro future time period inspired
Absolutely.
by.
Yeah, it's like when they go to the billionaire's house and they're living in there, they've got all these super futuristic things with the water features and how the fireplace goes and everything like that, and the floor's moving, but yet it's
Then
still
the clothes and the cars are
still
very
designed
retro.
in like the 50s style.
Right.
And then her motorcycle is completely like battery, like it's all like like
it's
now
like a Bugatti one. It's
Yeah,
like
it's-
now.
So I love how Pixar kind of makes up their own time periods.
Yeah.
I was
love
gonna
that.
say the best scandal about that was the newspaper in Incredibles 2 said Wednesday, October 25th, and everyone was like, "What year was October 25th on a Wednesday?" Like,
yes. Oh, so Lauren says, well, Wall-E was way in the future. We know that timeline.
Yeah.
True.
true.
Yep.
And the dinosaur.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that wasn't today.
Yeah.
That's about all we can place is the good dinosaur and Wall-E.
Yeah,
Wally.
yeah. Well, yeah. We get the sense that that Toy Story was like in that '90s frame.
Yeah. And Cars 3 says a date, doesn't it? I think it does. I could be
Ooh.
wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember. So Brendan wants to... Okay, so Brendan, I had this question as we get further in as well, but we'll talk about it. How did they get clothes in the first place? Would they not have any clothes when they first get to land?
That's what I thought of. But I thought, is that one of those like refrigerator problems? You're supposed to like
Yeah,
stick
one of
it
those
on-
things you don't
Yeah,
you don't
you're not
question.
supposed to really think about.
Well-
But they probably discover it when they first come out, and they probably like grab clothes from something.
So,
I thought about this as the history of Italy, Romulus and Remus being raised by wolves. Like, they didn't have clothes. Like, those two boys, like, when they grew up, like, what did they do? Kind of the same idea.
Exactly. Yeah, I kind of thought that as well. What Julie said, like they come out and they realize it's going to lead to some good comedic moments.
What if they come out and they're like on a beach and they like steal someone's beach towel or something real quick?
I think it's going to be something kind of like that.
Right.
Well, you'll see coming up. There's a point where I feel like they might be transitioning clothes, so might have been something in there that
Because
we can.
when we see the first time he's going up, then they haven't, like, when the story starts, they haven't already been going up there having these adventures. Like, we actually follow along with them their very first time, I'm assuming.
Right.
So we would have to kind of see something like that, I feel like.
Right. All right, so I'm going to zip forward a little bit more. We've got just great shots, feeling good. We've got
the sun.
Yeah, I know. Love the details. And yeah, they like here's like a quick view of just his feet, the size of them. He's got definitely oversized feet. But even
Does
back
have little
here,
hobbit feet.
but even in the this here, these guys aren't feet. This guy's feet are not small, but they're definitely it could just be because he's growing into them.
Uh-huh.
So
I do like his like rosy cheeks though.
oh yeah, all the touches.
Well, it's just kind of like
That'll be a
sunburned
cute
cheeks.
Well, and I just love
Because
the
that's like our son always gets like the red cheeks, so
Yeah.
that's like another thing. I'm just like, oh my goodness.
and I love how he's looking around at everything, because now this is the first time
Yeah.
that he's there. He's really
Yeah.
exploring all this, and he's like, wow, this is
Right.
amazing.
That look of wonder.
Yes.
Mhm.
That.
A childlike one, yeah.
And then we've got Julia,
Yeah.
who if you're gonna
It's the
talk,
freckles.
what's that?
It's the freckles that remind me so much of Ellie too.
Yes, you got
Big eyes.
Yep, absolutely. Just how she kind of comes in and is like, we're going to be best friends, like with Ellie. Like, she's kind of like, we're in a club now. And she's coming in like, we've got to be, watch out for the underdogs and all this other stuff. But there's been definite comments that have been in here as far as that this looks like it's a little bit of like the styling of stop motion. Other people have said this has
like
a very
Aardman?
this has a very Aardman
sure.
who does Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
This, especially when she's got the overbite.
Yeah.
So many Aardman characters
Yeah.
have the overbite like this. She looks like Lady Tottington a little bit
A little bit, yeah.
from
Well, that was
Yes.
my first thought when I saw them starting to talk.
yes.
From Curse of the Were
Was
Rabbit.
their lack of lips.
Yes.
They don't have like they don't really no one really has lips, and their mouth moves in a very like oval way, like chomp chomp chomp. I don't know, like I don't know how to describe it, what you would call it in animation, but
I know
their mouths move differently than I've ever seen a Pixar character.
Yeah, so that is
More of that
oh
stuff.
go ahead, Julie.
Well, what I love about this shot that was just up is that you can see, like, you can place what each character, like who each character is. I feel like Julia is like the leader, like I'm the boss, and then Alberto is so confident. He's like arching his back like he's a model in the '90s, you know, like giving angles.
And he's
Oh,
a little older too. His voice is a little deeper, and I think the actor's a little older as well.
The actor's only 17 years old.
But older than Luca. Though.
But older than Luca, yeah.
And
I noticed
then like
his voice
Luca's
is a
just
little
kind of
deeper.
like, you know, just kind of like unsure and like, is this? I don't know. I really like that one shot.
So so I just put up the comment that Laura said, which was Cal Arts mouth. There's a lot of animation schools that do this, and this has been something.
Call it the bean.
It's been talked about in the forum quite a bit from people.
There is a name for it.
Yeah, it's the bean mouth. So it's got like, it looks like kind of like a bean or a jelly bean shape, where it's just, you know, round like that, but where it's got those smooth edges.
Like that too.
And May from Turning Red has a very similar style mouth.
She does. Okay.
So
I
people are like, oh, so we're all just gonna have the bean mouths now, but I think it's like, it's cool to change it up. It's cool to have a different look, and
I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I'm obsessed with Aardman, so anytime you could get this,
definitely no problem. I just definitely noticed it.
Yes, this piled high hair. That's a very Aardman thing. How it's kind of like clumpy, like, because they have to do it out of clay. You know, it's like more like lumpy like that. Like, and just I love how everything is rolled too. Mm-hmm. So again, it's kind of throwing to that, like, what's the timeline? You know, like this, it makes it feel a little older at times, you know, a little throwbacky. Everybody's got sleeves and shorts rolled up, and they don't have, a lot of them don't, some people do, other people don't have belts. They're just, these are townspeople. They just have the ropes for the belts. So we've got her coming in. She's got this, just, she's, like you said, she's the leader, which they need. They needed a leader character because they've never been here. So she's going to come in.
Those are beautiful shots too.
Oh, gorgeous!
Like, I love that view of the sleeping woman and through the window, the rooftops. Oh man, that's great.
Yes.
The one where they're peering down the alleyway just screamed Coco. Like, the lighting that they got for Coco was necessary for the
and here's the one. We all love this one.
Love that.
Yeah. Paulina, you screenshotted this right away, and what did you say about it?
It's La Luna.
Absolutely. So
does look like the Luna moon.
Yep. So I will go over to my other. Oh, we missed one. One of the. Okay, so we'll get to La Luna real quick here.
Oh, the newspaper thing.
Yes. So here's like, you know, the silhouette.
There you go. Yeah.
The Luna moon.
So that's a little Enrico. But let's go here. So I got a new toy lately, and I've been having fun with it. And as part of that, I will go back to the trailer, and I'm going to go to where he sees the newspapers. So we've got these. I didn't see it because I've got a comments window that's blocking it. But we've got these newspapers pinned up here. So I was like, okay, so my new toy that I got is literally an enhancer. So, you know, like when they go like in shows, they're like, zoom in, enhance. So
very CSI over here.
Yeah. So I can do it, and I love it.
An enhancer.
I have an enhancer. So
Nice.
So we've got, of course, this is the Gazette. We've got this next one down here is Newspaper of Portorosso, which is their town. And then we've got the Maritime
Journal.
Maritime Journal. And then this is the Ligurian Tribune, which Liguria is the crescent-shaped region of northwest Italy, and Genoa is the town that Enrico is from, and he was born in Genoa, and it's right smack dab in the middle of Liguria. So It's the Ligurian Tribune. But look who's in the paper.
Oh, Miguel. So
So-
there are some more connections. There's
His
a
album
reason we
just
keep on
released.
bringing up that movie.
Yeah.
Enhance!
His album just released. It's top charts in Italy.
Is that what it says?
No.
So yeah, this is the Porto Rosso by the sea. Mar is sea. So I'm learning. So yeah. So Laura mentioned a little bit earlier that is anybody learning Italian? And you can bet I'll be pulling up Duolingo and trying to have some fun with some of this. But yeah. So and then in addition to Miguel, I was like, is that Miguel? I was really like zooming in and doing things, and then I was like, okay, what is this? I'm like, ooh, that's a traditional Mexican like folk art, sun. So I was like, bam, we've got it. So, and then this right here where it says Risa del, I can't pronounce it all, but
Kumito.
yeah, so that is something, I couldn't see this full word here, so I couldn't translate it because it's over the rack, but it's essentially a brawl of the pasta committee.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah,
Pasta
so there's a
committee.
pasta committee.
Love that.
The SpaghettiOs.
Yeah. So yeah, so that one was a lot of. So yeah, how do you?
Cool
Come on,
find.
that's a cool new toy, eh?
It is.
Cool
Great
toy.
toy.
This is gonna help us out. All right, so let's go back here. We've got the silhouette, which just gorgeous, cocoa colors, La Luna up here, from the creators
Notice the
of.
cocoa colors at the nighttime.
Yep.
Under the where they're walking.
Oh, and thank you. You guys are so good. I didn't catch that. Thank you, Josh. So
But does Josh have the enhancer tool?
hey, not everybody can. No.
Not everybody can wield the.
Yeah. it's like the Infinity Stone,
Yep. Thor's hammer.
Yeah. So here is.
This reminds me so much of my childhood, just out by the water building stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Mine I wasn't out by the water, but I was in the woods building stuff.
Yep.
Oh, I was there
That's
too.
it.
Yep. Okay, so here is clothes. These might be transition clothes
Yeah.
because he's got like this grass woven skirt.
Almost like a seaweed thing.
Exactly. So I think this
Seaweed shorts.
might be like.
Well, you know what I think it is? So I think Alberto already has clothes because he's obviously been out in the town before.
Oh, so
but
maybe
I
he
think
brings them some clothes.
I think they're doing some odd jobs to get some money to buy Luca clothes.
You do?
I think that's why they're painting and doing something.
I don't think they're painting.
Oh
I
no,
think
they're
this-
probably
this is
building
like a-
that
They're building
that
their
ricochet little
car.
Yeah.
Their
right.
little
Contraption.
bike.
Yeah.
Or something else, because this is a toaster. It looks like a toaster with
Yeah,
like the thing
you're right,
removed.
you're right.
But yeah, I'll keep looking. But I think it's like so with mentioning that comment about Alberto and that he's potentially been there before. So Enrico had said in the EW article that his overly confident friend Alberto drags him there. We love that Alberto and Luca have a common passion of strange human things. Alberto also has a bit of a weird sense of what these things are. He's looking from afar, so he misunderstands a lot of things. He plays the expert, but he gets a lot of things wrong, and that also gives us a lot of fun comedy. So I
love
think,
that
I
quote.
think he's pretending he's been there.
Oh, so it's like me when I used to work in the office and I was confident. If you were,
Yeah, if you're
if you don't
confident.
know something, but you're confident enough in your answer, sometimes it can move
Or maybe
along.
he's maybe been there enough, but like just doesn't quite get it yet.
Correct.
Like he thinks like he's been there enough to think that he gets it.
Yeah.
Could be
Yeah.
a possibility where he doesn't really. But I think that's great. That's gonna when him going around town explaining things to Luca that are just totally wrong. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Absolutely. So while on land, Luca and Alberto meet Julia, who feels very righteous about injustice and has this strong intensity. So while also feeling very much an outsider in her own way. So is she the bridge that is essentially, because we know her dad is clearly the fisherman that wants sea creatures dead. is she going to be the bridge that is going to bring the sea monsters and the humans together? Because she's eventually going to learn, but you would assume she's eventually going to learn their secret, and then she's going to be the one that's like,
I have an
Dad,
idea
we've
about
got to
all
turn
this.
this. Well, because she said...
I have an idea about all
Oh,
this.
you have it? Okay.
Well,
But I'll wait till we get to the dad
You're kind of
part.
hitting my thoughts about the dad and the tattoo and all that
Yeah,
kind of
same
stuff.
same here.
Okay,
Dan.
all right.
Same here.
Let's just do it. Let's just cover it.
Because
Okay.
I feel,
I'm curious,
here's how I feel, is that I feel like her dad is a hunter, a fisherman, someone who does not approve of these sea monsters. He's aware of them. And he obviously has the spears on the wall. He's got the tattoo with the spears going through a sea monster.
Yep.
I think that he and a lot of people see them as a threat. I mean, you can even see his the knives where he's knifed in locations almost like he's getting rid of sea monsters.
Yes.
He almost seems like we've hit that area. Either he's knifing either areas that he's searched, or he's knifing areas that he's destroyed, or fished out, or whatever.
Or that they've been spotted.
Or spotted, or whatever. So he's obviously tracking them, I think. And I think that the injustice that they're talking about in that article, I think that she does not agree with her dad. And she is almost like she is a supporter, I guess you could say. I don't know what the right word was, like a supporter of the sea monster, the culture, because I don't think that they see it as a myth. I think that this town and these people know that they're out there. I don't know if they actually think that they're these mythical things that may or may not be out there. I think that they're known to be out there in this world.
Yes. So when I
Or
say...
do you think that it's...
So
they
when
could just be mythological to them.
When I say bridge, I mean they know they exist, but the bridge to bring the Montagues and Capulets together.
Oh, yeah, no, that I agree with. But
okay.
What I'm saying is that, like, would you agree that in this world they already believe that the sea monsters exist out there, and that they're a culture under the water and all that kind of thing? And so, yeah, I agree. So that I think that she's a supporter of the sea monster. She disagrees with her dad, and yeah, she will help kind of bring things together, be that bridge the way that you described it.
Right.
In some way. I mean, maybe not that exactly, but I definitely think that she supports, her dad doesn't, they disagree on that, and that there's going to be tension there.
So we've got so many different angles that there could be character arcs from. The dad could be learning something. Julia's gonna probably... She may not have even seen a physical sea monster yet, because maybe she hasn't been out to sea.
See, I think Julia, and this might be wild, but I kind of feel like she might be part sea monster and doesn't know it.
That really?
I think that, because they don't show her mom, they don't talk about her mom. I think that the dad met Julia's mom when she came up to the surface.
Whoa.
And something happened. The sea monster, Julia's mom's dad must have sequestered her away, and he was upset. They had Julia, she went away, or she passed away, or something, and now he's taking his vengeance out on the other sea monsters. Who'd destroy... I don't know. That's just kind of like a vibe or something I'm getting. It's probably totally way off, but... And I don't think she knows, because I don't think she, really can, transforms like the other boys. It's kind of like Aquaman. In a way.
What does she hit a certain age, and then she starts turning like that?
I don't know.
It's one day she's swimming and she's like, ah!
I haven't thought about it fully.
Well, you guys the 13th year, right?
I just kind of have a feeling it's that there's a tie.
It's like Jack getting his powers.
Yeah, I don't know if she will, but I just have a feeling that the dad has something to do. Or he was at one point.
Really? Mm-hmm. What do you think, Paulina?
That's actually...
I had not thought of it, but that's brilliant. I think so. I mean, that.
But if you spoiled the twist, I'll be upset.
I don't know. It's just
okay. So here,
I'd be like,
like I said,
Julie
it's
got it
probably-
again.
it's probably way off.
The bolder assumption is Julia going to be a part of like the villain situation? If it's her dad, will she play a role in that? I've heard that theory going around today.
What was that? Sorry, I was reading something else. Help. What'd you say, Sydney?
I just heard a theory going around today where Julia ends up being like part of the villain scenario because she finds out and ends up like siding with her family rather than her friends.
Oh.
That's a rumor I've heard going around. I don't think it's a thing, but I will put it out there because I've seen it on the internet. And
yeah,
I can't see her going against her. Like, she obviously has these strong beliefs.
Well,
she's rallying.
I think there's like, I think she's like, when she's taking him on like the rooftop, and she's got the book about the universe, or he's got the book about the universe, and she's looking in. I think she's showing him like, there's so much we don't know about what's above and below. I think she's literally like, she's trying to just soak it all in and learn it all, and she like wants to know what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is, I'm not going to go with your prediction. I'll go the opposite direction, and I still think that it would be like, I guess I'll say it's like a little bit like a Brave thing. Like, King Fergus was like, I hunt bears. And then all of a sudden Merida brought him like here, they're not evil. And I think that maybe she's like the bridge there. I still think that he is going to be opened his eyes to it. I love the fact that she could potentially be.
Yeah, I feel like he either was a sea monster, like still, you know what I mean, or something.
So
or
I guess
her mom was.
The one thing that you said that would kind of throw a wrench into what I was going to say next is you said like she might not, like, because if she's half, she might not turn if she touches the water. But I was going to say, like, Dan was like, don't ruin the twist. If she's never allowed to go near the water or get in the water, well, we know why. Like, if her dad's
like bathe or drink water or anything like that.
Yeah,
Can't live.
Yeah, because she would know.
Oh man!
But I have a feeling maybe
that's
the
why
dad,
if she is, which I don't think they're going there. Like I said, if that's a twist, then man, kudos to you, Julie. But like
I said, I don't think I'm right.
Complicated why she doesn't change with water. Then I don't know. But
well, there's definitely see like
as we always do.
This film definitely has a lot of those layers. I mean, we've already got. That's what I love about this trailer too. The one thing we don't have answered, which I would assume we'll get in the next full trailer, is, you know, why the story of the sea monsters. I would presume the next one is like, hi, I'm Luca. You know, this is my town and this is where I live. And these are the sea monsters up there. Everyone hates us. You know, like, so I presume we'll get more of the backstory.
The underwater.
The underwater backstory. Because
my mom is the...
Right, yeah, exactly. So this one was...
totally start with the sea monster history.
Exactly. And this one is more of that... The Water's Edge, the poster that Sydney was talking about, you know, that they're legally bound to make the plush.
Which that poster is beautiful.
Yeah. So I feel like this one is like, here's the above and below. The next one is the history. The one thing we didn't get around to yet with the dad is the fact that he is another Easter egg in the fact that he is... So right away, Sydney, you had said your dad had noticed he looked pretty familiar.
Yeah.
So he looks like the father in La Luna, Papa, or not Papa. What's the father's name in there? I don't remember. But he looks like him, but he is not. But he's a new character. So Enrico says, populating the town are characters like Massimo, the mustached figure spotted in the trailer, who's voiced by Italian stage actor Marco Baracelli. the resemblance to Massimo and to the adult character is that the filmmaker, the coincidences to La Luna are not a thing. So I always like to joke, it's the same vocal actor, but I'm casting him in a different role. So it's not the exact same character, but it's a similar type character. And then we have...
Yes.
I love that it looks like he's got a mustache too. but
Yes.
it's just
I
like his
want
little...
a plush. I
I
want
just
an
realized
action
that the
figure.
cat
I
looks
want a
like
pillowcase.
whatever his name is from Parks and Rec.
Oh, yes!
Oh my gosh, yes, because of the squinty eyes.
I just realized that.
Yes,
It looks like a cat version of that guy.
It totally does, because he's got the mustache, he's got the the really heavy under eyelids and over eyelids. What is his name? It is
I can't
Please
Nick
help us.
Offerman.
Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
I was like, all I could think of was Ron Swan, like his character's name.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I just thought of that now. And people also have seen, and I hadn't thought of this, the dad from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I've seen comparisons as well too, with where you don't see their eyes; they're under the eyebrows, and you got the big mustache and the round.
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yep, Joe just mentioned it.
TJ, did you enhance that picture up there in the top? Yep. Thank you.
Oh, this one. So no, I
Uh-huh.
did. I zoomed in on it, but it just looked like it was probably like his wife. It didn't give me a clear enough.
Does she look like she has fins?
Does she look like she
You need
is?
a better enhancer.
I didn't
Someone
enhance
wrote in
it,
the
Dan.
chat.
Dan, it's not. Don't blame the enhancer.
Lack of.
Yeah, it's the lack of enhancer. It's the enhancey.
Oh, okay.
Pixar
So-
Freak 1 in the chat asked, do you think Julia's dad is going after the sea monsters is a personal thing or is his occupation? Like, How to Train Your Dragon? Like, is dragon, like... whatever the plot of How to Train Your Dragon
Oh yeah,
is. Like,
yeah. Where like the dad
dragon
was
fighting thing.
the dad was the Viking keeping the town. Yeah, it's so funny how the dads are always these huge, big, burly dudes. And then one of the other characters are like the smaller guys.
The twig.
Yeah, the twig. Yeah.
The cat gag though is just brilliant.
Wushu.
So there you go. Totally. Yeah. So they got us in the chat here as well.
Thanks, Aiden.
Yep. And then. Nick Offerman's in the great. Oh yeah. So then Marco had said you guys, or Marco said this last time, but now Laura is saying it. You guys said cats were on the rise. They're coming in hot.
It was a discussion we had.
Yeah, exactly. So
Now, do you want that cat as a plush, TJ? With the mustache?
Of course I do. So we've got the squinty eyes, which by the way, the sea monsters have yellow eyes, and so does this
Is the
cat.
cat half sea monster?
Yeah, but cats have kind of
Joking,
yellow eyes,
guys,
though.
joking.
Yeah. So then we've got all the comparisons are just great. And then Marco had also said earlier that he's like, I love that it looks like he's got like a curly chest hair.
Yeah.
That was a good point.
Oh yeah, just what a great, hilarious looking cat. All right, let's see what else we had in the trailer here. Bare Feet Papers, Julia, backlit in the moon, Luca's outfit. So yeah, we talked about this here. There's a couple other things in here that I wanted to share.
I love the when they're like jumping off there. I love that straight out of that like first concept art image that we saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like literally just that brought to life.
Just look at this montage of this is what sells that freedom that you guys were all talking about.
Yes.
Also, the reflection, like, they're just showing off at this point.
Yeah,
All right.
So yeah, so she's teaching him about the universe, sells that she's part of a fishing family with the fishing beanie here. We've got Alberto, who's bold, and you've got Luca, who's a little more reserved, trying to resist it. I immediately
What do you think they're listening to? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but I immediately went to Up and looked.
Yep.
This looks very similar, but the cabinet and the crank are not the same. Then I went to Toy Story 4, and it's different too. I was like, oh man. So I was hoping to find an Easter egg there, but yeah, I want to know what they're dancing to. Definitely carrying in, like Julie said earlier, to their character traits. One's dancing big and bold.
A lot of this could just be part of a montage.
Yeah,
Because you
true.
remember with Cars 3, like a lot of those shots in the trailer ended up just being that really brief montage at the beginning of Cars 3
Yeah, exactly.
where
And
he's
this
racing
scene is
around Willie's view and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what? All those shots were just in those like that 1 minute montage that we
right.
so, like a lot of this could just be literally just straight from a montage of them kind of having fun around around on land, you know.
I love this thing too with
I
like
was gonna say
the rusted out panel. Yeah, what were you gonna say about it, Sydney?
this scene is just so true to their characters. Like as Julia was saying about the helicopter situation. Like, look at his makeshift helmet. Like, of course he thinks like my mom would want me to have a helmet.
Yeah.
Here's my makeshift helmet.
Yeah. What's this back wheel here?
It's something they found.
So looks like a wood, like off of like a coffee table almost.
Yeah. So okay, you've got like little like stabilizing like training wheels on the sides there. You've got a chair that's part of it. The life preserver on the back.
Which is so funny. Why do they need a life preserver?
Yeah, well, I know. And I love this, the upside down hanger. The coat hanger.
Yeah.
They even put like a little bell on it, and then like a rear view mirror. One of my favorite parts coming up here. Did you guys spot how they hold up the ramp?
No.
A turtle.
A turtle.
I didn't notice that. Good catch, DJ.
This part is so funny too because it literally looks like they're about to dive face first into a rock and then they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good. They should not. But.
I know.
But good comment that just popped up because as we know, when you have duos of characters, especially within Pixar, they're always opposites.
Yes, they have to be.
And so you have to have the one that's different to contrast. And so
Right.
you have now a more robust character, and then you have the more reserved character.
Yep. So, yeah, and then this is where we finally get the reveal.
Well, that's a different scene. So I do think that scene of them riding their little scooter does crash into the rock. This is a different scene. This is them jumping off into the cliff.
Okay. So you've got, and did you see that? Look at how, I love how they even give him, like, with the accent, that? The little bit of the, but then these guys are obviously like the upscale dudes because they've got the real belt instead of the ties. These must be like the tourists coming in.
No, I think they're different, like teenage boys that are.
Okay, yeah. And we've got, okay, so I wanted to also talk about this. You know, we always
The
talk
comment
about.
section.
What's that?
The comment section passes the vibe check right now.
Oh, yes. Mine. All right. So you see the seagull here and the red dot. So that is a real thing that they have, but I want to point this out too, how accurate Pixar is again. I started learning about seagulls today. Okay, so hang on. Okay, I got to get it right here. You see the legs on that seagull too, the color of them? Yellow. All right, I'm going to bring it back. All right, here we go. So, with the seagulls.
Blow our minds, DJ.
So, first off, what'd you say, Dan?
Blow our minds.
Yeah.
You seem ready.
So, well, this is not about the movie. This is about seagulls. So,
Yes.
since it's a coastal town, of course you'd expect to see them there. So that's accurate. I wondered what that little red dot was. Did you know? I don't think I've really paid attention to seagulls that closely. They all actually have that. That is a herring gull, and they have that red dot. There was a study done in 1973, and the guy won a Nobel Prize for this. So he won $1 million for identifying why that's there, and that's because the baby seagulls peck at that exact spot, and that, because birds feed by regurgitation, that stimulates and lets the bird know it's time to
Oh my gosh.
time to yak it up. Why he won for that was just because of the fact that it proved in animal species and in humans that we have these ingrained things in us which are just genetic. The birds don't need to be taught to hit the red because they took dummy they took dummy seagull heads and they put them into a nest, and the birds would always hit there, and they would do different colors, they would do different shapes, no matter what. If it was a red circle or red stripes even, they would do it, but if it was something else, they wouldn't do it.
Interesting.
Now, also accurate to Pixar is the color of the feet. In the Mediterranean area where Italy is, the seagulls have yellow feet as well. If it's Northern Europe, their feet are pink. Their legs and feet are pink. So, also accurate in their designs, yellow legs.
Seagull fun facts.
Very
You've heard it.
No, that is really cool. That is awesome that they went that far.
Yeah. I mean, why not? They probably have all that reference footage and somebody just built it off of that. They probably didn't get into everything else, but
Hey,
That's really
maybe they
neat,
did.
though. Every time I go to the beach, I see the seagulls, and I've seen that little red dot, but I never knew.
yeah.
I mean, they also know that everybody dives into everything like we do now
I know.
online and pauses everything, so they have to be accurate because they know that people will be up in arms if they don't get the seagulls accurate now.
Yeah. How dare you make a seagull with pink feet in the Mediterranean?
Exactly. Someone would call them out, so they need to totally different thing these days. I mean, everybody knows everything these days, so you have to.
Well, the internet. Okay, so we've got these guys here. They're peeking up and they're seeing the fishermen, and then this is where
Is that the dad?
Was it? I don't think it was.
Yeah. I don't
Okay,
think so.
someone mentioned it in the comments.
Yeah,
So
I don't think so.
So we've got them peeking up. So this is them kind of like just exploring the world. This is where we see all of the horrendous things that happen. What other movie was this in where they do that quick cut to everything that's dead and they're like, oh my gosh.
Pixar
Ratatouille?
or
Ratatouille with the rats in the window. But there's like, I thought there
oh yes.
So the other thing I'll point out back here is right behind, and I will shift over to the other one, is that it is a enhance. It is a... I had some of these just to show what they're doing here. It is a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea poster, and it's specifically a Walt Disney one.
Awesome.
So that's cool that it's back there. And because I saw it in the earlier screenshot where the guy says Scopa, you can see this side where it says like the Werner. And so it's Jules Verne is the author of it. And he was famous for also writing, let's see here, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Around the World in 80 Days, and Invasion of the Sea. I'm going to read that book now.
Yes.
So
very cool.
All right, let's see if there was anything else that was just back over on the old trailer.
Well, that's a great fountain design, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
With him choking the neck and the water coming out.
So cool. I mean, yeah, it is. It's very much like, very blazy.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's very blazy.
Yeah. So cool, though. And I love that they used, like, this would be like an Italian sculpture, like where they used a different material for the guy versus the animal, so it would rust and show differently. Like they would know how it would age.
It's a shame that Disney World doesn't have their 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea to be repurposed into like Luca or something.
That would be cool.
Oh, I know.
Well, yeah, people are already saying, and I think I put it up earlier, that, they're like, in Epcot.
Oh, Epcot,
in Italy.
Yeah, Italy.
So, okay, we've got the fountain. I immediately went to this
Gelato.
link.
Again, very stylized.
Yes, love it. Yeah, the gelato everywhere.
Who else has that completely round nose? Who am I thinking of in Pixar?
Ooh,
There's another character.
Yeah.
That has
Carl.
Carl's
Does
is
he have
very
maybe
round,
I'm thinking
but...
that.
Well,
maybe
it kind
that's
of looks
something.
like Grumpy from Snow White.
Oh, yeah, a little bit like his,
I mean
too.
that too, but I definitely was thinking of someone in Pixar. But maybe it's Carl who I'm thinking of. I'd have to see it.
Yeah. I looked in the Art of Soul book right away because this looks like in the deleted scene there was...
Oh, the neighbor?
The neighbor, Natalia.
You're right.
But after I looked it up, she's a little different. They might have used her rig and tweaked it, but here's the detail. If you enhance, there's also hairs coming out of the mole.
Nice.
Of course there is.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, so back to the old trailer. We're going forward. They're angry. They're popping up, and look at how quickly they can transform.
He transforms really quick, but Luca doesn't.
Well, he sort of does. So how cool is that camera movement too, up and under the water? So it's like, what's the time frame here before they switch? Can they control it? I doubt
look at
it.
his legs.
Yeah.
I think it's more that air controls it, air and water.
Yeah. But they obviously don't have to be like dry. They just have to be out of the water.
I think you just hit the air.
Yep. So then I also loved this. Look at the camera movement when he hits the fish.
How it shakes.
It shakes.
Yeah, that's just cool. Look at all
It's like
these.
the camera's right there on the cutting board.
Yep. And look at all these cool details in those scales. Pixar.
Very curious to see what the budget was for this.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this was a everybody
That's
laugh
the
moment.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is just hilarious.
That's the action figure I need.
Yeah, to me,
in some
that's
way,
when it
shape, or
screamed
form.
color changing.
Oh, great. Yeah. Did you just say great colors, Dan?
Oh, I just said that's when it screamed like color changing
Yes.
to me, like the toys.
Yep. So
But
we've
yes,
got
also
the-
great colors. Too.
Yep. Also, camera moves when they hit the floor. They pop back up, and he's already good. So that's that timing again. And then, yeah, we saw Nick Offerman. And then
See,
summer.
you won't think of
Oh,
it the
God.
same way.
Yep, summer 2021.
Yeah, I think they're doing that just to cover their butts a little bit in case it gets
Just
wiggled around again.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. One more, and it's quick, but it's a stylized thing that I think is cool. So, we associate forks as 4 prongs. I actually kind of like the fact. I ended up going into a whole thing about forks.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And there are a lot that you can find from Italy that have 3 prongs. Sydney, when you ate there, did they have 3 prongs or were they 4?
It is true, and there's a reason for it. I've
Isn't it
heard it's
seafood?
easier to get pasta to get it to wrap around easier. Like you can loop it through the 2 spots, and then it just goes better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's the reasoning I've heard.
So the thing that I like about it as well, now it could be just strictly because of the fact that it's Italy and that might be in this particular place a type of fork they use. But the other thing that I like about it a lot is that even if you look on his, it adds to a subtle intensity of the fact that it matches the trident shape that they hunt the sea monsters with.
Yeah.
So whether that has anything to do with it or not, I liked the fact that there's spears, tridents pointing at them.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly just said, "May the forks be with you."
Yeah.
That's a great observation, TJ. I like that.
And
So, yeah.
that is the screenshot right there. That is my lock screen now. That is my wallpaper.
Is
So
it?
funny. Yes.
Yeah, it's so good. So what else did we miss? Is there anything that you guys had in your notes that was like, we need to make sure we talk about this, or any other feelings or anything like that? Paulina, we'll start on your side of the house if you had anything.
Yeah, no, I think we covered it all. I mean, yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm excited for the music, just like I was with Soul.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just introduces us to, even though I love Italy and that's one of the places that is on my bucket list and I wish to visit, and I love Italian music and I love all that, but just to hear in a soundtrack and know what a great job Pixar does in their soundtracks, I'm just so eager to have it in my hands,
Absolutely.
and just the rest of it, I think it's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, from this 1 minute that we've talked about for an hour and 45, it really is already, I mean, it's one of those ones that, sometimes we walk away from them and we're like, what is this going to be? Not in a bad way, but we don't have as much excitement about it. And there's definitely something that's palpable for me on this one. And I think some of it is that freedom that you talked about, Paulina. Some of it's the beauty that Dan talked about. Some of it's the humor that Sydney talked about. Some of it's Julia and like how cool her character is that Julie mentioned. I mean, there's just so much to love about it. But definitely the music as well. I can't wait. You get a cultural soundtrack. Like Dan said, not only are we going to get the music of it, but we're going to get some education out of it. Sydney, is there anything that you feel like you wanted to talk about or that we missed?
No, I think we covered basically all the bases for now. I'm sure I'll find something, as soon as we get off the stream, but...
So, yeah, Lauren mentioned that photo in the upper right corner of the kitchen again. I'll enhance it. I'll put it on, like, the forum or something like that. So, yeah, I do need to look at that more closely. Okay, Joe, that's a good question, too. Do we know if the music was an old recording or created for the trailer, the Don't Take My Sunshine Away? I meant to actually try to look that up, and I ran out of time. Do any of you guys know that at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah. If anybody in the meantime happens to like know that in the chat, let us know as well. But that's something we got to investigate too, because that was a great version. So that was cool. Yeah. So I kind of cut you off as you were talking there too, Sydney. Anything else that you're thinking about?
No, you're good. I'm just excited. I'm so looking forward to seeing how they implement the Pizza Planet truck. I think that's going to be awesome. I think I was wondering, on the sides of the building we saw numbers and we saw the number 13.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if there'll be like an A1 somewhere sitting around there. And obviously the Luxo ball. I would love to see like an underwater, like they're playing with the seal or something, like an animal like playing fetch with in the water. That'd be amazing. But that's just me looking for an Easter egg. So if anyone in the comments has more Easter eggs from the trailer, please let us know.
Yes, let us know. And then the last thing I want to talk about after we chat with Dan real quick on his thoughts, and I got to point that way, not that way, is a comment from Laura about the release of it. But Dan, anything that we missed from your thoughts or comments or any other final thinkings from your perspective?
Well, yeah, we've always talked about how I love the story aspect of film, and a lot of the things that I was thinking of during the trailer were story related, like where it's all going. So the notes that I have here, there's like three main things. Essentially, like what's going to be the drive, like what's propelling this story, because all we know is what we know. We know that they're the two sea monsters coming on land. They're not really supposed to be there. They're getting in shenanigans. They meet this girl. They're having fun. They're eating gelato. They're eating pasta. People hunt them. Like that's literally what we know. And obviously, there's going to be a whole movie surrounding that. So where is everything else? So what's like the drive? What is going to be propelling the story forward? The second thing was the emotional core, because we know that Pixar is going to have an emotional core to it. So what's going to be that emotion? What's going to be that thing, that hook that resonates with us that we all know that every Pixar film has? Correct. I know that there's themes of friendship and all that kind of thing, but it's going to go deeper than just friendship, because, I mean, Cars and Toy Story, there's several Pixar films that have covered friendship, and it's going to be more than that.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point, because you would... Oh, sorry, I'm hearing myself. So you mentioned like Brave, or I mentioned Brave earlier, but you mentioned like, what's the bigger thing? So the bigger thing in Brave was the mother-daughter relationship, and it was kind of the bringing together of the family a little bit. But yeah, what is going to be that bigger thing that we're all going to connect to? Now I have to know.
Yeah, and we all see like in every... Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I was just going to say the third one, it was drive, the emotional core, and then the last one was the message. So Pixar has fantastic messages. So the director has something to say. He's written this, that Pixar always has something to say. They want people to get something out of their film, something positive. So the last thing that I was going to mention is what is the message, kind of going along with the theme and the emotional core. What is going to be the message that we take along from it?
Yes.
Those are just story related questions that I'm really excited to see pan out because thinking about hearing the premise of Ratatouille, you think, okay, so there's a rat who loves to cook in Paris in the kitchen, and you see the trailer and he's in the kitchen. Where's the story surrounding that? Where's the hour and 30 minutes surrounding everything? And then you see it, and there's this fully fleshed out story with themes and messages and characters and motivations and all these things. So that's what I'm looking for here. And I haven't found it yet, but I'm excited to find out.
Go ahead, Paulina.
TJ.
Go ahead.
Paulina, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I think I read it on your post within what Enrico said. About thinking of your childhood friends and remembering that innocent time, and and it kind of made me think too. It's just like, wow, yeah, my childhood friends. What did become of them? You lose connections with people, and I think it has a lot of that, just to be grateful and have that, Pixar, and I'm sure there's gonna be so much more to it, But
oh my gosh,
he wants us to. What happened, Julie?
She had a thought.
What you just said. What if this summer of Luca and Alberto, like Julia's dad was best friends with Luca's dad when he would come up from the summer.
Oh, like if he had that similar summertime experience.
And then he found. Yeah, and he left, and
they split it. They parted ways or whatever.
Yes, and that's why he's like, something like that.
That would make a little bit more sense than him actually being a sea monster, or the daughter being half.
I like that better.
Yeah.
That was all based on what Paulina was saying. I was like, yes, I did.
But yeah, there's going to be some hook. There's going to be some twist. There's going to be some drive in all this. And I definitely understand, Paulina. You're totally right about they're definitely playing up the childhood friendship and nostalgia and all that. But I know there's going to be another layer somewhere in there too.
I believe that.
What were you going to say, Sydney?
Yeah.
Sorry. We always see in Pixar films that characters end up ultimately getting what they need and not really necessarily what they want. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out in the end, because we see that as a common theme basically in every film, where it's more of you learn a lesson of growth, of personal growth. So whether that's if we see Luca being able to be confident and stand up on his own, or having to do it without Alberto, I'm curious to see where that direction goes.
Yeah, because we've got this other piece too, which is they're curious about the land above the sea, but there's got to be some arc in that difference between the waterline. Because if not, it's like, okay, why'd they go up there then? What made him curious to want to go up there? That's what we need to learn.
These are all the questions I'm thinking of too.
It's his dad's stories.
It's his dad's stories.
There could be a Fox and the Hound aspect where they aren't friends at some point in the story, where they're not against each other, but there's some bad blood there as well, and that could be an emotional arc as well.
Right.
Because they're playing up the whole friendship thing, so I feel like there has to be something that happens to their friendship.
Sure.
It's like Luca's dad's story. That's why they keep him so tightly wound, basically. It's because he was his dad was like a free spirit. Now they're like, no, look what it did.
I think that's more of the story point to just get somebody. Well, no, you could be right there. Yeah, I don't know. These are all the things, like you said, we got to learn. This is
kind of worms. I'm sorry for the last 5 minutes, but
no, this is the best stuff. This is why we miss you on these chats. You know what? You know what? We haven't done this yet. You get yourself a glockenspiel.
Oh, here it is.
It didn't work.
I've seen those happen. I've never actually.
There you go.
And then how's about?
Wow.
So, wow. Okay, so just real quick, circling back on the Easter eggs. Actually, I'll take one twist too. Kevin said the song is by Antonio of Italy. I believe he is part of a famous Italian barbershop quartet, so we're going to have to look that up. Thank you, Kevin.
Awesome.
The other Easter eggs that we were talking about that we need to keep an eye out for, Ratzenberger. Is he going to voice a character? Or is
Or is he
going
gonna
to
be a character?
Is he going to be a sea monster likeness? And then Kelly is saying the girl May from Turning Red should pop up as a tourist. Somebody else said a completely out of place red panda.
Hey, she does have that animation style. She could fit in somewhere.
Absolutely, she could be somebody that's passing through or whatever.
Speaking of John, does anybody else miss John playing like the bigger roles?
Yeah, like Mac.
I miss him, doing like the hands or the Yetis or the PT fleas.
Yeah, but can they keep doing it as a big role though?
Yeah.
No.
But I want it anyways.
Even like Mac and Cars. I mean, he was doing bigger roles for a while. I'm just saying more than like the one line, not a main cast.
Correct.
Like a supporting character.
Yeah, I could see. I would like to see that. I think they'd have to do something a little different because at this point he's played so many though.
Well, it was fun when they gave him a French accent.
Exactly. Yeah. There was I put that one up already. Another concept. We talked about the Easter eggs. The last thing I wanted to talk about
the 35th anniversary thing.
So we already talked about that. Oh, missed the Glockenspiel. Well then, yeah, here's another one for you. Will there be anything concerning Pixar's 35th anniversary of the film? Probably not. It was Laura had mentioned it about the theatrical release. I hope COVID doesn't take away the theater experience again. So, what are our thoughts on this? And I know that this is a crystal ball question. Is this one that you would enjoy as much on Disney Plus, or do you want to see this one in the theaters?
I want to see it in the theater. We'll rent it out. As
much as it was fun to watch Soul and be able to rewatch it again and pause it and all that great stuff that came with that. Yeah, man, do I miss going to the theater too. So, but it was great because we have our 1-year-old and it's hard for us to get out to the theater, and so it worked great for us because that would have been really hard for both of us to see it at the same time.
Right.
We watched it one night just after we went to bed, and it worked out great.
Yeah.
So in that sense, that was awesome. But no, I still want the theater experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Paulina, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I want it in the theater. I want to watch Soul in a theater still. You know, yeah.
See it with an audience. It's a totally different thing.
That communal experience also, and so many things, especially effects. I don't know. I like a more big screen.
Hearing the audience laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, audience reaction is huge.
Absolutely. That's what Brad Bird always says about his movies. Is he's like, it's built for that building of the audience reaction. I think that there was something about Soul that, in a way, because it was such a introspective film,
like it's very intimate, so it kind of was okay.
I kind of was okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm right on board. I hope they do release it in theaters.
Because we'll go.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say
we'd have to.
I'm
assuming they're going to do the Raya thing where they do both.
But Raya,
you have to. That's like Mulan, where you have to pay the premiere.
Right,
Disney
but they're doing theater simultaneously with the premiere access.
Right. Yeah. So let's hope they continue to do that.
Raya comes out in March, though, right?
March. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe
there's only like a few months difference. I don't think it will be much of a.
And maybe because it's June, and maybe they're seeing with like the vaccine rollout. Like,
I was gonna say, I will say that as working at a
changes.
movie. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying that probably will change things.
Yeah. Like working at a movie theater right now, like it depends on what state you're in. Like Utah, the rules are totally different. But like in Michigan, like the rule is you can't eat in the theater, you can't drink in the theater, like masks on at all times. Like it's very social distance. It's obviously like the precautions are taken there. So I think like just personally, because I work there and I know like how our cleaning procedures go, I would be comfortable going because I know the nitty gritty ins and outs of what we do. Does that make sense? Like if I were
and our theaters are open too, for sure.
Yeah. If I were like a general member of the public, I might be a little bit more skeptical just because I don't know the cleaning procedures, I don't know what goes on, but because I'm the one who does it, I'm like, sure, great, I'll go.
Yeah, right. You trust yourself? That's healthy. Other
You guys
people
are welcome to come to my theater.
fantastic. Other people are asking about shorts. We haven't heard anything. We don't know.
I can assume there will be a Spark short attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at first they weren't sure if they were going to do the Spark shorts in theaters, but then, they were going to do Burrow, and so I think now they're like, oh yeah, we can do these.
Yeah.
It seemed like Onward was
nothing
almost
else-
like a transition period where they were trying to figure it out. Still.
Yep.
If nothing else, I would like to see an episode of like Inside Pixar if they can't come up with a short. Like I think an Inside Pixar beforehand would be cool.
Absolutely.
Something. Yeah.
Like a little behind the scenes thing before it starts.
Right.
What else do we have? Any other final thoughts or comments? I feel like we've covered them now.
Yeah.
Well, one more thing.
Okay.
Since you asked.
Yes, I love it.
I was just thinking about this today. This is just another kind of random thought, but I was thinking about the one-word title trends for Pixar.
Oh, yeah. And now 4 letters.
And how it started. It hadn't happened until Cars, but then you had all in a row, besides the sequels, not counting those, and besides Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur, all in a row, we had Cars, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up. We had Brave. We had, then we had the Inside Out and Good Dinosaur. But then we had a bunch of the sequels. But then we have Onward now, Soul, and Luca.
But then we have
I guess
Turning
Red takes that out of there. But I'm just
Lightyear.
I was thinking about it today, and there's a lot of one-word titles ever since Cars. Just trying to get thoughts on that.
I like it. So I do actually, at this point, it's kind of like the character designs. I like when it shifts back and forth. Mm-hmm. So I think I would be ready for more like Turning Red, Inside Out, like those kind of ones. I want there to be some, and I can tell you that internally there's been a couple jokes about it at Pixar, like, oh, we're sticking with the one-word title. So it's definitely one of these things that, they know. They know that it's a thing that people talk about. I hadn't really thought about it though before. Like I didn't ever think about how Cars was kind of the turning point almost, where from then on, because I looked before that and none of them had that one word title. Don't forget Coco.
So I didn't...
4 letters.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! How could I forget? That was weird.
So Katie says that it's probably, I'm assuming this is what she meant by this, that it's probably because it's more memorable, like having that one word. I can tell you for search engine optimization, Cars is hard. So like, all these one word things are trickier to when you're talking about just a common word or like a name like Luca. I don't know. I believe it was a Lasseter thing for a while that he wanted to like, that stamp. It also works really good with logos because it's big letters. You don't have to like make them all teeny tiny. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it works, but I feel like that 1 to 3 is ideal. That's why I kind of like the 2 ones sometimes, but I'm okay with it. I just want to, switch it up. La Luna.
Right.
La Luca.
That was my last thought. I promise I won't have any more, but it was on my notes, so I thought I'd bring it up.
All right,
and
fantastic.
It's cool to hear your perspective on it.
I love it. Well, thank you again, everybody, for joining in the chat. We had a great time. I'm not going to say goodbye to everybody because... Oh, fine. Chris says it also makes an easy hashtag, and that is true.
That's true.
So, yes, thank you, everybody in the chat. We had a lot of folks that stuck around from the beginning. I saw a lot of the same names from the top to the bottom, so thank you so much for that. Thanks again to you guys for joining us, Dan, Paulina, Sydney. It's always great to have you guys along and get your inputs as well.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Yeah. So we really appreciate it, and we'll probably get the full trailer in like another month or so. What do we think? Month of So
April, early May.
So we'll be chatting again soon. And so next time, Dan, your story conceit that you came up with, we want that at the top of the chat. Because I want to dive into the story side of it next time first. Because I usually kind of go.
Next time we'll have more story to dive into.
Yeah.
That's true, but I usually kind of go through like what are our overall thoughts, characters. We're gonna flip it next time.
Yeah.
We're gonna do. What do you think about the story first next time?
I agree.
All right, sounds good.
So awesome! Thanks again. I'm seeing lots of goodbyes in the chat. Thank you guys so much, and of course, you know what to do. You got to stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest Pixar news, right?
Bye.
Bye.